Hello everyone, myself Hariharan and my registration number is 18BC0671. Today I'll be sharing my opinion on Indian education system. For the past few years, India has seen a vast development in the field of economy, agriculture and education. Indian education system has both positive and negative aspects in it. To be frank, the negative aspects overrules the positive one in many ways. At first, let me stand on the positive side and tell you some positive aspects of the Indian education system. The first positive aspect is they are more and more technical institute. Hence, for a student who completes his 12th and wants to join in any college, he can easily get admission in India, in any college, reputed colleges in India. The second thing is in India we have reservation criteria. We know scheduled caste and scheduled tribe undergo discrimination by the forward caste people in many ways even today. To bring it down, to bring the discrimination down, the Indian government has implemented this reservation criteria in which the scheduled caste scheduled tribe people will also be studying or pursuing their degree along with the forward caste people. This is one of the good advantage in our country which is not offered in many other countries. From this, in India we give more priority to the technical knowledge than the practical one. Hence, a student in BTech degree in India learning a topic will be far ahead of a student learning the same topic in MS in abroad. Hence, that's one of the main advantage that I think Indian education system has. Apart from this, along with this, in India we have ICSE and CBSE syllabus. This syllabus has a best standard ever that could offer the student of 11th and 12th standard a better education than in any other countries. And also in India, for higher education we have many and many institute. In India we could see that many foreigners coming to India to pursue their higher education, but for an Indian it is not a difficult job to get it's not a difficult job to get admitted in reputed institute for a higher education. Hence we are standing ahead, we are in ahead of other position, other countries in terms of this. Now a question arises, are these positive aspects ensure that Indian education system is efficient than other education system in other countries? In my personal view, I will say no. Let me tell the reason for it. The most important thing is India produces the best brain people ever, but it takes away the spirit of the students. Today's students run behind the marks. You see, when I was studying my intermediate course, I used to sit in a same place for 8 to 9 hours. A teacher comes, he teaches the lectures, he takes the lecture, he doesn't even matter whether the student understands or not. He goes out of the class and a next teacher comes and does the same thing. Sometimes a teacher never even turns back and see if the student is sitting in the class or not. That is the first main drawback as a student I feel. And also in my intermediate class we do have sports and cultural events, but they come once or twice a year. In Indian education system, the one of the main drawback and each student regrets for it is we don't have equal priority to sports and culture along with the academics. People train students in a way, the teachers train students in a way that they could learn more and more academic things than the sports and cultural things. I used to remember the days when my maths teacher and my English teacher borrow the PT period from our timetable to take the lectures. Hence, I feel that equal priority should be given for sports, culture, and academy. Equal, not more or less, equal. And the next thing is, teachers are never open to criticism. Many teachers are never open to criticism. At the end of the class, teacher used to send students, if you have any problem, just report me. When a student stands up to report his problem, the teacher tells this dialogue often. If you know more than me, come and stand in my position and I will sit in your position. This is evident that teachers are never open to criticism. This is one of the drawback which I think. And the next thing is many students lack moral value. The schools and colleges teach students to complete their digital assignments and their lab assignments, but they never teach moral value. everyone knows that the students or a child learns moral value only from school level, but teachers, they never teach those moral values to them. In India, you can find a small child carrying a bag that is much heavier than his or her weight. They just take more and more books which are not required for the thing. Also in foreign and abroad countries, they do not have this book system. They have a tablet or a online education system which is much better than India. And the other thing is, students are not taught life skills in their school days. As of what I know, in many abroad countries they teach Indian literature as a part of their curriculum also. But India, we don't do that. The thing, you may question me, what is the need for learning this Ramayanam and Mahabharatam in and some other Indian what Indian books, holy books in the school education system? The main purpose is they teach moral values to the students. Each and every story or every phase of those books are teaching one or the other moral values which will be very helpful for the student in his or her life. And next comes the foremost thing. Today, more than 95% of the government schools lack facility. They do not have a proper water facility. They don't provide proper environment for the student to study. They don't provide proper desk or chair for the students to sit, and also the restrooms in those government schools and colleges are very bad. Hence, most of the people prefer private institutions than the government ones. This hence there comes a question, why are these government schools still existing? These government schools are still useful for the people who want to study but do not have a good financial background. Hence, a partition comes here. The one who is rich studies in a private school, the one who is poor studies in the government school. This is one of the main drawback of Indian education system. Along with this, the teachers in the government schools are not qualified enough. They just get some random degree and come and get employed in into this education system. On the other hand, when we see that private institutions better than the government one, no, they are also no. Most of the private institutes have a lack of many facilities. Also, teachers are also not qualified enough. Private institute try to earn more and more money from the students. Hence, they hire teachers who demand less salary from them. And I do not know why there are tuitions elsewhere in many parts of India. We know school is a place where students learn things. If they learn things properly in that place, then why there is a need for tuition? More and more tuitions in India is evident that schools are not running in a proper way. Students are not made to learn things properly in schools, and hence this have to be changed one or the other way for a better India. I tell it so because students are the future of the India. And on the other hand, coming to the learning methodology of the student in India, most of the students do not know why they are learning this subject and what is the real-time application of this subject in their daily life. For example, let me state you an instant. My junior father approached me regarding regarding an idea for better institute in which he or she he can join his son in that institute. When I had some short time discussion with his son, I came to know that his son has a dream to join an IIT, but to my surprise, he doesn't even know what is the abbreviation for IIT. He tells me that IIT is a college or a place where he could get admitted and get higher jobs in the future. Today, most of the corporate education institutes are making or working on producing robots who work with no knowledge. Hence, these are the drawbacks that I think that Indian education system has. I would also like to mention the latest news in the newspaper that many students in IIT Rourkela are getting failed in their first years. It's because they get good ranks in JE mains but fail in first years only because they mugged up and they just had a minimal or not a proper approach of gaining knowledge. This is the only case that happens in India as of what I know. Students are the pillars of the country. Hence, it is a necessity that the education of the students must be proper for a better country. Let me tell what are the ways this Indian education system currently can be improved. First solution would be proper implementation of laws. How many of us know that there is a law called right to education for each and every citizen? Not many of us. It is only because these laws exist and are not enforced in a proper way. Hence, the first improvisation step would be enforcement of these laws such a way that each and every citizen knows about it. The second would be, I told you before that what are the advantage of the reservation criteria. For example, let's take a instance in which there is a scheduled caste student and a normal student. Both of them secure some same mark. Now, the scheduled caste student will be getting more priority than the one who belongs to the normal caste. Hence, this serves as a disadvantage to one category of people sometimes. This has to be, I don't mean that this has to be stopped. It can be improved in a better way. They can have a much better way for providing the reservation criteria for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people. Then I told you before that theoretical knowledge. In India, theoretical knowledge has much priority than the practical one. Is it sufficient? No. Hence, practical knowledge also must have equal priority in the Indian education system. Now comes, there is no technical advancement currently in Indian education system. Hence, Indian education system and the government has to raise funds for bringing the technology into the Indian education system and implement in a proper way. Bringing it is alone not fine. They have to implement it in a proper way such that they exist forever. Then life skill classes has to be introduced in education system each and every week, in which students will be taught the Ramayana Mahabharatam stories in case if they are not known, or else they can go for the yoga classes. Sports and cultural events in the schools must also be given equal priority along in the Indian education system. Now, previously I told that the facilities that are offered in the Indian education schools are very bad. Hence, government must also raise funding in in developing the facility of these government schools. Hence, people who prefer private schools will start preferring the government schools. And the next thing will be the learning methodology. Student must be learn a concept to gain knowledge. He must have the mentality to gain the knowledge than the mark system. It is only in the hands of students and teachers and not in any other one. The teachers, mainly the teachers, they mold the students in the way they want to be. Indian education is far ahead today than it was in the past, and it will be far ahead in the future than it is there in the present. Hence, I'd like to end the thing with the Albert Einstein quote. Education is not the learning of facts, it's rather the mindset to take it in. I thank you.